here in the Bahamas with Saving the Blue. I brought Zac and Noah along with me, along with the film crew, to dive into what it takes to protect our oceans. Specifically, the great hammerhead, the small-tooth sawfish, and the silky shark. 2 of which are critically endangered and 1 listed as vulnerable. Can't wait to dive in. It's a great organization and we're going to learn a lot.
I'm Annie Guttridge, an underwater photographer, shark conservationist, and president of non-profit Saving the Blue. Saving the Blue is a 501c3 non-profit. We do work in Florida, down in the Keys, and up in Jupiter, and we also do work in the Bahamas on an island called Andros. Saving the Blue offer really exciting research expeditions to the general public and young marine biologists. This week, we're joined by the Bachelor boys, Zac, Noah, and Blake. We're excited to have them not only here physically to help us, but to also use their voice and their platform, which we're hoping will inspire millions of people around the globe.
What are you hoping to learn here and take back out into the world?
I don't know a ton about the ocean. I came out here to learn, fund a really cool project, but then I can come back with being more compassionate and more educated to be able to talk to more people. We talk about like influence, right? We have these great platforms and bring guys like you along that also have a big impact on their influence. It's just going to help, the ocean as a whole.
That's one of the reasons I wanted to be here, because I know you're passionate about this work, and I knew nothing coming in, which is why I'm trying to soak up as much as I can, and I think that's one of your goals, right? To like just take the people who know nothing, give them little bits of wisdom here and there.
You need to be here to really experience. That's why these trips and on ecotourism trips and wildlife trips can really change your life, your perspective on wildlife and why conservation is important.
So we're deploying BRUVs, baited remote underwater videos, and we're surveying this area. We're looking at the abundance and distribution of a lot of different animals, fish, sharks, hopefully a swordfish, you never know. So here we go.
We're then going to attach that to a pole that mounts onto those BRUV frames. And then we're going to intricately bring those over here to the side of the boat. And once we do that, we're going to drop the box and the frame completely off the boat and slowly handle and feed it down to the bottom.
It's important to come out here and do this because the way that the planet is going right now, everything's going wrong, it seems.
So many people don't realize that the majority of our oxygen comes from the ocean, so if that goes, it's detrimental to not just the ocean inhabitants, but everybody across the world.
If it keeps going the way that it's going and no one stands up to talk about it and no one gets this word out, we're in a lot of trouble.
Working on impact, education, and awareness projects like this with an influential few truly has the ability to positively change the minds of 1 million new.
So we're out at the FAD where silky sharks naturally congregate. There's an abundance of fish out here that hang out under this buoy. And as we're hanging out here, we see a bunch congregating around the boat. We see a whole bunch of tags on them that Saving the Blue's actually tagged in the past. So we want to get in the water, see if we get a closer read on those tags and those numbers. We just pulled up and there's jellyfish everywhere. Ronte got stung by a whole bunch yesterday, so some of us are kind of scared to dive in, but we're only doing this once, so we're diving in and just kind of seeing what happens.
It broke my heart every time that shark swam by and I saw the hooks sticking out of his mouth. It hadn't been caught just one time. It had been caught 2, 3, 4, 5 times. And how sad is that, right? By fishermen who are out there not even targeting it.
She had at least 3 hooks in her, which is just a prime example of the pressures they're under, you know? Like, there's a boat coming right now. This boat is possibly coming over here to target a fish and will probably catch that shark.
Right.
You know, so that's just, they're constantly living with that day to day, you know, wherever.
I think that there's lots of things that people can do at home to help. No one has to be perfect, but I think there just needs to be conscious decisions on a regular basis to make more sustainable choices. That happens in food and products that we purchase. Look at the silky shark. They prey on tuna, and as they chase tuna around, commercial tuna fishermen also catch up silky sharks, which is one of the top species of shark that's caught in bycatch each year. So is that can of tuna worth killing all of these other species? So we're out visiting schools and we're running workshops that help inspire kids and locals to become conservation stewards. With increased coastal development, wiping out our important mangrove habitat, we need all the help we can get to stress the practice and the importance of protecting these nursery areas that have not yet been explored. And we do that by little things like this, toothbrushes that we hand out to the kids, talk about why plastic's bad. Using sustainable products like paper straws can go a long way to helping protect marine species. So we jumped in the classroom here, talked a bit to the kids. We had a ton of fun in there, and they're cute as hell. Yeah.
It's so important to fund exploration and discovery research in remote areas when it comes to sawfish. Just doesn't always go so smoothly.
What happened?
Just one thing after another today, but you know, we're just going with the flow. The tire just blew off. So now we don't know what to do. We're on the way to go get lunch, and now we're starving ourselves for a little bit until we figure this out, and I don't know what the hell we're gonna do.
It's still the pursuit of the sawfish. It's all about the sawfish. That's all it is.
Ready?
SOSA! SOSA!
So what we're looking at here, Blake, this is a flat tire. Most tires we see out here in the Bahamas are filled with air. What happened here is there's no longer any air in this tire. So we're gonna have to take this tire off and put a new tire back on so we can keep going.
So this one's one of my favorites, the nurse shark. A little different from what most people might think of a typical shark with big scary teeth. They actually have a different type of jaw and teeth set. They like to feed on hard-bodied prey like crabs, but will really grab anything they can along the bottom. To do this, they have a suck, crush, spit, and repeat approach to feeding. They actually have so much force, they're able to suck the conch right out of its shell. They're usually nocturnal, but you can also see them during the day, just like this, which is exactly what we've been able to do today.
So most people have such a misconception about sharks. All they know is stuff from TV and movies. You know, you see people all the time that have never seen a shark before, and then they come on these trips and their whole perception of them changes.
Leading up to the trip, it was like I was scared. I was scared to get in the water with these sharks because I didn't know what was going to happen, and I found out that they were like friendly and kind, and they travel in schools and they have friends and they have their own ways of communicating, and it was just so beautiful to see, and I've been blown away.
I'd say after this trip, there's a lot more that I learned about sharks that change how I view them. You know, they have different personalities, they have different tendencies. Obviously, they're still dangerous and they need to be respected, but I don't hop in the ocean and instantly think sharks are just beaming out to come eat me.
You realize that they're just smart predators, but they're not man-eaters, they're not hunting us, they're dangerous, but it's because they're highly adapted to their environment, but they're not after us, and I think it changes a lot of people's minds.
We, humanity, have an obligation to take care of our animals. We've taken over the world, and in so doing that, we have a large responsibility then take care of everything with it, and we're doing a terrible job of that so far. So when I'm sitting back and thinking about, what type of vacation do I want to go on? I used to love sitting back and being on an all-inclusive vacation, but now I've kind of changed that mindset, and I love the sense of adventure where I can do good along the way and then bring awareness at the same time and do it with friends and learn new things. You live one life, so why not experience the most you can while doing good and diving into what truly matters and what's actually meaningful and has purpose. And that's the things, the creatures that have been here and really deserve to be here more than we do. So how can we help them